Sometimes these are harder than others. So what is going on, All-Terrain Nation? Today on the show, we're going to discuss the 2024 Ford Ranger Raptor, and I'll give you my true, honest experience of owning this thing. And you guys know I'm an auto journalist, and I buy vehicles to do long-term reviews. If I see something interesting in the market that I go, hey, I'd like to own that, and not just do a 7-day press loan, because while I do like 7-day press loans, they give me a good idea for what a vehicle's like. Owning it is completely different, and when you have to live with things, are they good, are they bad, you know, how's the quality been? That's why we like to buy these vehicles, but we have to slow down. The economy's going crazy. I don't know whether we're in a recession or what's going on, but so I'm slowing down the buying process, and we're trimming the fleet, and we've had this for 6 months, and its time has come. I've gotten everything I think I can get out of this vehicle, other than the fact that you can just start modding them. And if it's my personal vehicle that we're gonna keep forever, yes, you know, our Bronco over here, you know, we modded that thing. We've had a lot of fun with that thing. But this one here, I don't wanna do that with, because that's not the idea. When I do a long-term ownership, I need to leave it alone. And as somebody who likes to modify vehicles, that can be very tough. But on this show, we're gonna go through this thing. I'm gonna talk about a few good things and maybe 1 or 2 bad things about this vehicle. And let's be honest, there's not too much bad about it. I've drove all the major trucks now, and I still prefer this one. Price point kills this thing. I mean, it just kills it versus anything else. Nothing can compete with this vehicle right now in the market. Now, does Ford keep the price affordable? It's yet to be seen. We've seen what they did with the Bronco Raptor, so does this thing have the same fate? I hope not, because people love this truck, and you've been very passionate. You guys who have subscribed to my channel just based on this truck alone, I say thank you, because, well, you guys have helped quite a bit, and you are very interested in how, you know, the opinions of this truck that we have. So let's go walk around this thing one last time. Let me give you my little sad crying session of getting rid of this thing, because this has been my dream truck. Out of anything midsize, this has been it. This is my dream pickup truck, and well, sadly, it's gotta go. So when I saw this thing drop in Australia, I love the Gen 1 version of the Raptor, but when I saw this thing drop, I knew I had to have it. And when Farley, the CEO of Ford, said, hey, this thing is coming to the United States, I knew it would be in my driveway, and we tried to be one of the first to have this truck. And so far, ownership has been pretty great. I want to say a special thank you to Allie DuBois with Brighton Ford in Michigan, who helped me secure this one. And I mean secure early, because I asked Brighton Ford before they even had anything really known about this, and they said, hey, you get the first one. And I want to say thank you to that, because they've been very, very kind to me. Now, as we walk around this thing, of course, it's got that big F-O-R-D. Now, one huge miss that Ford did with this thing was not adding the amber lights like they did on any other Raptor. I do have no clue why they went with the just the you know, the white, which they look great, don't get me wrong, but it misses something on that. And man, I gotta wash this thing. Get a little buggy up there. But they did give us the F-O-R-D like all Raptors get, and that's great. But I think the amber lights and missing the 3 running lights up here was a huge miss on Ford's part. And I hope when they do like a mid-cycle refresh, they sort of fix that problem. Now, I know the Australian market doesn't get that either, and this truck, honestly, it's not wide enough that it deserves those lights. But guess what? It's a staple of the Raptor now, and I feel like, well, Ford should have done that. Now, clearly, you go around this thing, I love the fog lights about it. The LEDs are great. And if you haven't noticed, if you're driving one of these things, if you haven't noticed just yet, when your high beams kick on, they don't just brightly kick on. They just slowly just kind of come on. And I dig that quite a bit. I owned this truck for a couple months before I even noticed that, because it was so seamless. I didn't realize my brights were on, but well, they were on, and I appreciated that. Now, of course, you get the big tow hooks on the front, and you're getting, you know, this is a metal bumper up there, which is nice. Overall, the front of this thing, it looks very Raptor-like. I love the digital graphics that we ordered. I specifically wanted this because, well, I saw this at the press launch, and I thought, man, those look great. And I saw this Shelter Green, and I'm still in love with Shelter Green. I think as far as Ford performance, would I like to see Code Orange 100%, but if this is their next color, I damn sure love this color, because, well, it just sparkles in the sun. It's fun, it's interesting, and it's not a gray or black that Ford seems to love. Now, part of the things that we got, once again, with this, you can see the sparkle in that paint, by the way. It just looks great. But part of the thing we got was the new KO3 tires that BF Goodrich was working on. And it was cool because, well, you know, the Australians and the other markets didn't get this, and I have to say, these tires have handled great on road. I have zero complaints about them. They handle the sand excellent. We aired these things down to about 15 PSI. And they work perfect. No complaints at all. And I do love these wheels. Look at these little, the Raptor wheels. Now these are basic ones. They're not the beadlock capable. And to be honest, I don't know why anybody would want beadlock capable in this, because most people change them out if they want true beadlocks. And I think they just look great. And I see no reason to need to spend the extra money. Now, if you like those, 100% go ahead and get those. Now, as far as this thing being a true Raptor, these are active vents up here. That's right. We got them on the front and sides, and that's kind of a staple of the Raptor brands. You get these vents that kind of get all the heat out of there, because you're going to run this thing hard, and well, Ford's really thought of this and to dissipate some of that heat. Now, people want to know about, hey, can you run larger tires on there? As you can see right here, this is a safety bar. You would need to remove that, and honestly, you were going to need a perch collar. And what a perch collar lift does is you take it and you just lift this up, and you put a brace under there, and it lifts it up, and it gives you an inch and a half more lift, which then you can run 35-inch tires on this thing, which it should have came with. I gotta be honest. Ford knows with the Bronco, they knew with the Sasquatch package, okay, 35-inch tires, people are gonna want that, and the Raptor especially. Now, does Ford hold something back? Are they just gonna give us the basic Raptor right now, which is a badass vehicle, but do they have something planned for maybe a Raptor R version of this, where they might put that 3.5 in this? Speculation, of course, but I can see why maybe they want to hold back and save something for a year 2 or 3 with this to kind of bring some more pizzazz to this thing. But 35-inch tires, yeah, I would have loved that. One thing in all my videos I take a lot of crap about are these steps, and I don't think people understand why I do not like these steps. As the step themselves, they're steel, they're great, yes. I just see this big gap right here. Can we cut the difference? It just makes it from the side profile. If you look at this thing from the side, it starts making it not look as tall as it is. And like I said before in videos, I don't know if it's Ford, if there's some sort of regulation where the steps have to be so far off the ground, or what the deal is with that. And they're a great step, don't get me wrong. Nice and metal. They work great when we were in the dunes. They kept a lot of sand away from the body, which I really, really like. But I just would like to see those just up a little bit. But you got the Raptor branding on there, so they do look cool. But in my opinion, we need to get those up just a little bit. Part of this thing being a decked out Raptor, not many options. And one thing they included with this is 360-degree cameras on this thing. You get the lighting around it, the surround zone lighting, of course. That looks really cool. Very, very helpful. And part of us knowing it's a Raptor is knowing it's gonna take a beating. And I saw this at the press launch of this thing, and I love the fact how they put these plastic fenders down here. They're taking all the brunt, because these rails keep a little bit of rocks and chips away, but you know it's throwing stuff at this. And I like the fact that if this got beat up, it looks like it'd be pretty easy to replace on this thing. We'll go back to the back of this thing, because, well, one thing I would replace about this that Ford seems to, I don't know why, I'm sure it's just because of stamping. Why does that say Ranger? That's my biggest, if I had the biggest complaint, the rails can be changed out, but this saying Ranger and not stamped Raptor, I think is a huge miss. Now, you do get the cool Raptor stamping back there, or the kind of embossed plastic there, looks great. But the one thing that it just, I don't know if they're wanting to just, hey, let's make sure that people know Raptor, Ranger, Ranger, Ranger. But I just feel like that was a big miss on this thing. And well, Ford, if you do a slight refresh on this, can we get Raptor stamped in there, because it really needs it. Now you get that nice, slow, cool, you know, that tailgate that goes very down there. And as you can see, I do truck things with this thing. I throw all kinds of crap back there. And I have to say the factory bed liner is very tough. And I'm glad that I spent the extra, I believe it was $500 of options on that. I'm glad I spent that money on that and not went somewhere else. Now it did, if you're ordering one of these things, it does kind of hold it up a couple weeks. But trust me, it's well worth it, because for one, it's all factory warranted now. And I kind of like the Ford branding about it. Of course, we use these outlets quite a bit. I have the set power refrigerator, and we go to the ball fields. I plug it in there, good to go. And we do have a normal house outlet as well, which works out well. And the lighting in this, everything about the utility of this truck is great. Of course, towing is down ever so slightly, but it's a Raptor. I didn't buy this thing to completely tow big things, and 5,000 pounds, honestly, is more than I probably want to tow with this in the first place. You get an actual full-size, you know, spare tire on this thing, which is great, but you're getting a Steely. I would have really liked to see them do a match on this, especially for what this vehicle is, though I do understand it. Let's keep costs down a little bit. But as we can see here, here's the big thing. The watts link on this thing, you're buying this thing because you want to go fast in a straight line. This can be a rock crawler of sorts, but this thing is, its bread and butter is speed going straight and doing in the turns. Of course, the watts link is going to keep that axle straight under the truck, doesn't allow it to sway too much. So when you're you know, doing those whoop-de-whoops like this, your axle is not moving around, and that's very nice. And I will say, in the dunes, oh my God, it worked fantastic. I have to say, this truck performed. If you own this, and you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't take it to the dunes or somewhere, some sort of desert where you can just rip into this thing in a straight line for, you know, a mile or two. A+ on that Ford, and the setup on this thing, 100% A+. We're gonna get that dual exhaust with the old Raptor there, and well, it sounds fantastic. Let me give you a hint of the sound. Let me show you the interior of this thing, because I've not cleaned it. It's dirty, and I use this thing as a truck. As you can see, it's just, there's dirty kids, you know, shirts everywhere because we just got back from a ball field. But the interior for the first 6 months has held up great. I was a little worried about these plastics here, but they seem to do well. I've got sand in it like crazy, but overall, the seats, everything about them just seem to be, you know, holding up great. I will say, you can see, they do tend to hold a little bit of dirt. Not a big deal, especially if you got a vacuum or something like that. So be aware of that, all these little creases in that. But overall, these seats have been just everything I expected and then some, because, you know, they could be more obnoxious. I like the kind of code orange to them. Love this. Love that Raptor imprinting. Love all the stitching, but they're not, nothing about the interior has just been completely over the top, you know. Subtlety. We still get all the nice kind of, you know, the suede feel to this. I love the fact that you get an extra, you know, Raptors, you're gonna get a little extra glove box there. But overall, everything about this thing seems to have held up great. Now, scuffs, you know, kicks, things do get dirty, but overall, I've been very, very happy with this thing. Now you get in this, once again, only one thing, and I even talked to Mike Levine about this. Let me start this puppy up because it's hot out here. Get some AC going. But this little plastic piece up here, I talked to Mike Levine about it, and I let him know in the community, hey, some people have this issue, some don't. I haven't paid it any attention, to be honest, but it is something that I have seen of concern. But overall, a couple things that, you know, I love the center stack to this thing. It is a little, when you don't put your seatbelt on, I will say it's a little annoying. But I have my R mode set. I go straight to sport mode. So we're gonna hit that, my R settings, which I have it in everything in sport except the exhaust, which I have in Baja. So you double click it there and you can see it is in my mode now. And I've been getting into it. So you can see my average is kind of down. But this screen, everything about this, the shifter, you know, you remember early on, I kind of gave this little thing crap. And I've grown to really, really like this. It fits in the palm of your hand really nice. And I have to say, I like it better than the old T shifters, which I was kind of fussing at Ford that they should do. Why don't you do that? But is what it is. This thing works perfect. Of course, nice stitching with it as well. It's all leather, so it feels nice when you're, you know, shifting. So I have to say, I've kind of got to eat crow on that one because it is, it's been better than expected. The wireless pad in this thing, as you can see here, the wireless charging of it, some people are complaining that their phones are getting super hot. So I don't know what that's about, if that's, you know, the phone is getting close to charge, where it's just, you know, it's been heating and heating a lot. I've only noticed that one instance with my phone, and honestly, I didn't pay attention to where it was in the charge, but overall, this thing works great. I throw it in the console, you know, when I'm on trips. I love the fact that it just syncs right to my system, which is a very nice system about this thing. And I want to turn the radio down, but I want to show you guys the screen of this thing. So as you can see, I've got it turned all the way down, but you've got real AC controls down here, which I always want in a pickup truck. I love the fact that I can turn the radio, the AC, everything off there. You have the dual climate zone, so if Kelly's over there and she doesn't like she wants it warmer, she can handle that. But up here as well, you have nice selection of AC controls, so you can actually turn your heated seats on, heated steering wheel on, as you can see right there. You can make adjustments if you want your AC, you know, cold or hot. Why they really did that, I have no idea, because I like the knob personally, but they do have that in there. Of course, I like the fact too, the vents. I like how you can just go real custom with this thing. So you see here, if I want AC blowing up in the window, you can do that. I want it in the floorboard, you can do that. If I don't want it there, I want it just the floorboard in the the window, you can do that. But I have to give Ford crap. I see a little vent right there in the truck, but we have no vents there. Why is that, Ford? But ultimately, all this works great. I don't need a huge radio. I've been bragging about how Ford has really integrated this into the dash, and it's honestly, it's worked well for me. I've really appreciated that I don't have something sticking up here. Now you see my 67 Designs phone holder, yes, but I don't have a big radio sticking up in my way. And speaking of radios, the radio in this thing is great. Now that's not something I can say with yeah, that thing back there, because that thing's radio is awful. But the B&O sound system in this truck, 100%, I would recommend it. Is it worth it? Yes, 100%. Will you want more bass or whatever loudness? Maybe. But the older I get, I'm just happy that I get a good sound system, because I grew up in the 80s when you got maybe 4 speakers and they were about that size and they just sound like an AM radio. So over the years, sound system's gotten a lot better, and in the Raptor, 10 out of 10. Like, everything about this thing, the truck is just great, and I have really no complaints about this. Once again, the radio's great. All the storage, you do get, you get all the storage over here, you get storage over there, water bottle holders everywhere, cup holders here. If you're kind of used to Ford products, you'll understand this is all generally where it's at. All the 4-wheel drive selections have been great. I love the fact that I can click this button right here. Oh, and look, it's gonna bring my options up there. So it went away. You can see here, I'm gonna push that button once again, and ta-da, there we go. Now we can, if we were in 4-wheel drive, so let's click 4 high. Oh, look, now all my functions there. I know a lot of people do not like this, and would I rather had my lockers, as you can see right there, there's the front locker, here's the rear locker. Would I rather had that in the dash, a knob or something? Yes, I would. But the fact that I can easily push that button when it's in 4-wheel drive and those pop up, I don't feel like at the end of the day, it's not been a burden to me. Learning trucks, yes. Like, there's some things you just kind of had to learn about it. But the fact that you get all these quick button features, which I think should be in the Bronco, I love the way you can do all the modes right here. But in the Bronco, I would have loved to seen that integrated into it. But doesn't really bother me at all. You've got all your little going to bring up all your apps. Look there, we can see how tilty are we. Let's see what else we got there. All your zones around this thing, so if you're getting anywhere close to anything, gives you all your tire stuff, tells you when you're in 4-wheel drive. So let's go ahead and click it back to 2-wheel drive. It's switching, doing its thing, and when I'm done with it, I X out and I'm good to go. And I have to say, it's pretty simple. At first it seems overly complicated, but it's not. It works great, and 10 out of 10. Let's get into ownership of this thing, financing, all that. I paid retail for this truck, and I've seen way too many people saying you cannot buy these at retail. Once again, I worked with Brighton Ford in Michigan, who I didn't partner with them or anything. They didn't have to sell me this. But guess what? If you do special orders with that company, they do them for MSRP. If they have one on the lot, they may do over. I don't know their business plan. But I've seen many, and I mean many, other companies out there who do sell these things at MSRP. And me flying to Detroit to pick this thing up from Nashville, that was kind of fun, to be honest. And that road trip back, I learned so much in that 600 miles that I drove this thing back. I learned a lot about the vehicle that if you go to your local dealership, you drive it home, you may not, you may sit in your driveway and learn a lot of things about it, and you may not. But I have to say, that was part of the fun of getting this vehicle, was the ordering process. And once again, it was pretty easy. We all know that they took longer to get than they were supposed to, but we had a strike in the middle of that. We've had all kinds of still continuing part issues. So I think Ford did their best. Ford wanted to get these in the hands of customers who wanted them as fast as they could. So I'm very understanding about that. Gotta crack a freshie open here. So let's talk about the vehicles that the channel has right now and our future plans with the Ranger and so on. So this truck is sold. It's already sold. It goes away this week, or whenever you're watching this thing, it's gone. I got exactly what I paid for this vehicle. And if you guys know, the last couple vehicles we've bought, we've lost a little bit on. Now, the Gladiator that we bought for a long-term review, we did okay on. At the end of the day, I paid for 2 years of that vehicle because we were in that pandemic and it was just hard to get certain vehicles that we wanted for the channel. So we stuck around with that one a little bit longer than we wanted to. We had our time with that vehicle, and ownership of that one was great. But there was still a cost to the channel. Now, we're a 13,000 subscriber channel, which versus some may be a lot, and versus some, we aren't even a fish in that pond yet. The money we make from YouTube gets sunk right back into these vehicles. And guess what? Prices are going up on your favorite vehicles. This one here, $58,000. The Bronco that we ordered in 2021 was, well, we ordered it in 20. It was $54,000. So this one was, you know, a little bit more than that one, but we had the Mustang in between. And like I said in that video, we lost our ass on that Mustang. And had I paid attention to that market, because I'm not really a sports car market guy, had I paid a little more attention, which is my fault, and you know, as you should, we don't buy these vehicles to make money on by any means, but we also don't want to lose our ass on them. And if I would have paid attention to the Mustang market, I would have seen that there wasn't a huge, you know, secondary market for them just yet. So that is on me. We lost around $10,000 on that purchase. Yes, I had to dig into our 401k, and well, to get rid of that car, I had to give them $10,000 extra. So when I had an offer on this truck for basically what I paid for it, I've done everything I can with this vehicle, and I hope you guys understand. I love this vehicle, and if this is the truck that I would keep in my driveway forever, if we were, you know, one of the big YouTubers out there, Stradman, some of those guys that have all the money, 100% this truck would stay in our driveway, and I would give you a very, very long-term ownership review of this. But the way things are, I have a day job currently. This thing takes up, you know, I do a day job for 45 hours a week. This is another 40 hours a week to give you guys content, and right now it's just paying enough to make one car payment, and well, that is the Bronco next to me. So this comes out of the family fund, and we're gonna have to slow that down for a little bit. Now, does not mean if something fun comes out, because I talked about getting the 4Runner, that we may not jump it back into that pond. But the world we live in right now, I don't know whether we're in a recession or where we're at, and it just makes me a little nervous having an extra car payment. If you guys don't know, me and Kelly went through the Great Recession in '09, and we lost everything but our house. So I'm always a little sensitive to when I feel the market shifting, and just, you know, I don't want to have to file bankruptcy again, which I did back then, because like a lot of people, I was way over my head, and I learned that lesson. And with the economy the way it is right now, as far as the business side of this, I don't want to bankrupt my business or my household just to bring you guys content with the latest and greatest. Once again, that does not mean, if I feel like things settle down, that doesn't mean we won't jump back into the market and try to buy the latest and greatest that you guys want to see content on, because we will. I just think right now, for the way we are, let's pump the brakes just a little bit. We got a lot of fun to be had. We do have something coming around the corner that you guys hopefully will be excited about. But I have to say, as I end this, the Ranger Raptor has been 100% worth it. I was at a press conference the other day. Mike Levine, who is the PR head of Ford, asked me about it. He was like, "Are you enjoying it?" And I explained to him. I was like, "Yeah, the little mirror thing." I said, "There's that." But overall, I said, "Mike, you guys gave us a 100% the truck that I wanted." I've been very proud to own this truck. And once again, I hope you guys understand it's going away, but I know where it's going. It's going to a good home. And I think where it's going might surprise you. So in the comments below, where are you at with this? Do you own a Ranger Raptor? Do you own a Ranger? Because Ranger sales are just starting to tick up a little bit. But I'm curious where you guys are at with your Ranger. Do you love it as much as I've loved this thing? Because I think right now, the Ranger is the best truck on the market. Now, you saw that I did where I thought the best truck of 2024 was, and I gave that to the Nissan Frontier because I think the price point of that vehicle, because it's so cheap right now. But if I have to choose overall the best mid-size truck I've been in, and I've been in them all this year, hands down, my messy Ford Ranger has been a home run, and I'm going to shed a tear when this one drives away in a couple days, and maybe plan where we're going next. So whether it be two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, or sadly this Ranger Raptor drive that I got to kind of close the door on. It's been your All Terrain Nation. I'm your host, David Boyd, and we're out. Peace, everybody. Love y'all.